Have you ever seen a movie flop so badly that the lead actress ended up sitting in an empty theater just to come to terms with it? That's exactly what happened to Rachel Zegler, the face of Disney's Snow White. A film that didn't just fail at the box office, it crashed and burned in spectacular fashion. From the moment those second weekend numbers dropped, it was clear this wasn't your average cinematic misstep. It was a full-on disaster. The kind of failure that sticks to a career. Between controversial interviews, political rants, and behind-the-scenes tension, Rachel didn't just stir drama, she practically set fire to the entire Disney kingdom. And now, after months of controversy dragging this film through the mud, Rachel Zegler finally snapped, following the film's massive failure. You know a movie's in trouble when the lead shows up to watch it, and the place is so empty you can hear the popcorn echo. Rachel showed up with a few friends, probably for moral support, but the scene looked less like a Disney premiere and more like a private pity screening. Some fans tried defending her, claiming they rented out the entire theater, but honestly, that excuse isn't holding up. Social media has been flooded with clips and photos of empty Snow White screenings across the country. Even when I went, basically dragged there, it felt like I was the only person who got the memo. To make matters worse, Rachel posted a video of herself buying the tickets. That move backfired hard, turning what should have been a fun outing into meme content. The vibe was pure, "Hey everyone, come watch my career implode in real time." It was one of those moments where a celeb tries to own the controversy and laugh with the crowd to take the sting out of it. But instead of damage control, it just made things more awkward. Now, let's talk numbers. And trust me, they hurt. Disney reportedly dropped $370 million on making and marketing this reimagined Snow White. That's nearly $400 million spent turning a beloved classic into a modern-day lecture. And the return? A bleak $43 million opening. Audiences literally walked out. For perspective, even Dumbo outperformed this. And that elephant flew away from theaters. By its second weekend, the film saw a brutal 66% drop in ticket sales, pulling in just $14.2 million and falling to second place, beaten by an action movie called A Hard-Working Man that opened in 1,000 fewer theaters and didn't have the Disney machine behind it. Let that sink in. A modest action flick outshone Disney's most iconic fairy tale 2 weeks into its run. Even The Chosen, Last Supper, which had half the theater count, nearly matched Snow White. And when you look at revenue per theater, both of those films beat it. Oh, and with Minecraft hitting theaters next week? Yeah, Snow White is done. As of March 30th, 2025, Snow White had earned about $66.9 million in the US and Canada, with an additional $75.8 million overseas. That brings its global total to around $142.8 million, a figure so far from break-even that analysts estimate a loss of over $100 million. But it doesn't end there. The film's IMDb rating plummeted to a jaw-dropping 1.5 out of 10 at one point. That's not just bad, that's, should we pretend this never happened? Bad. This is the same Disney that made $1 billion with the Lion King remake. And yet with Snow White, theaters were ghost towns. People were posting seat maps online showing more blue than the Pacific Ocean. And the final irony? Rachel once confidently claimed people would line up to see her movies. Well, yeah. That quote aged flawlessly.
Brilliantly.
That at every premiere and everything I do, people will wait in line to see.
Yeah, people lined up all right, just not for Snow White. They were buying tickets to literally anything else. So when that old clip resurfaced, it felt like the universe was clowning her in high definition. The issue wasn't just that Rachel Zegler starred in the film, She practically talked it into the grave. She trashed the original 1937 classic, calling it weird, mocked the prince for being creepy, and insisted the whole story needed to be fixed.
With a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again. Like, I'm being so serious. I watched it once and then I went on the ride. And
Big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
That alone rubbed Disney loyalists the wrong way, especially those who grew up loving the original fairy tale. But Rachel didn't stop there. She escalated things by openly telling entire political groups not to bother watching the film. Like, come on, you're the face of a family-friendly Disney movie, not running for office, and telling half the country you don't want their support? That's not bold, it's self-sabotage. The wild part, they actually listened. Having political views is fine, everyone does. But there's a time and place, and tying them to one of Disney's most iconic stories was clearly not it. And of course, by now, everyone's heard about the tension between Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. It got so intense that Disney reportedly had to beef up Gal's security after she started receiving waves of hate and even threats, all supposedly sparked by Rachel's online posts. Things took an even weirder turn when Rachel made a shady comment about Gal being a pageant queen, and then completely left her out of an emotional Instagram tribute to the cast. Coincidence? Maybe, but with all the drama already in the air, it definitely felt like a low-key dig. Honestly, after everything that went down, it wouldn't be shocking if Gal Gadot is sitting back with the faintest smirk while Rachel catches all the heat. By this point, Disney's PR team was in full-blown crisis mode, like they were putting out fires 24/7. They even brought in a social media strategist to help manage Rachel's online presence. But let's be real, trying to control her posts was like trying to tame a tornado. She had already made headlines for mocking the original, offending fans, and dragging the film through controversy after controversy. It got so out of hand, one of the film's producers had to personally fly out just to talk to her face to face. Even Spielberg was rumored to have raised an eyebrow at how chaotic it had become. Eventually, Rachel posted an apology, but it felt so out of character that people joked it looked like Disney wrote it for her, possibly with Mickey Mouse himself signing off at the bottom. But by then, it was too late. The damage was already done. Naturally, the consequences started piling up. Word started spreading that Hollywood was quietly distancing itself. She was allegedly lined up to voice a role in Toy Story 5, scrapped. Rumored to lead a new Pirates of the Caribbean film, cut. That horror trilogy with Blumhouse? Not happening anymore. At this point, it seems like studios just don't want to deal with someone who brings more controversy than ticket sales. After the Snow White meltdown, Rachel posted about how meaningful and emotional the project had been for her. But with the viral videos of empty theaters, the awkward silence around Gal Gadot, and Disney's desperate attempts at damage control, it's clear things went completely off the rails. The film has now become the punchline of Disney's identity crisis, and Rachel Zegler, once seen as a rising star, has turned into a cautionary tale of how quickly Hollywood can shut the door when ego, politics, and a $370 million fairy tale collide. That's showbiz. From feuding with fans, stirring up co-star drama, to sitting alone in an empty theater. This wasn't just a press tour gone wrong. It was a total meltdown on the biggest stage. Now Rachel finds herself as the lead in a movie that's been buried under memes, public backlash, and corporate regret. So what do you think? Is this the final chapter for Rachel Zegler? Or can she somehow pull off a comeback after this royal disaster? Either way, one thing's clear. not every fairy tale ends with happily ever after, especially not this one. Peace.